He had come to that moment in his age when there occurred to him with increasing intensity a question of such overwhelming simplicity that he had no means to face it. He found himself wondering if his life were worth the living, if it had ever been. It was a question he suspected that came to all men at one time or another. He wondered if it came to them with such impersonal force as it came to him. Currently it's 5:30 in the morning and I don't have to leave for the hospital until 6:50, and there's two things that I would like to get done before then, and that's journaling and a bit of reading. I've been starting my days off and ending them with this journal. Essentially, I think it's a knockoff version of the 5-minute journal. I got it online for pretty cheap and my friend actually convinced me to get it. So far, I've actually been liking it. I do have another journal, but this journal is more like a stream of consciousness. There's nothing I'm really trying to answer with it. It's just what I feel like writing at the moment. And then this just feels a lot more structured, and I quite like that I have these two. There's really small things that just make me feel good, and one of them is drinking from this cup. The book that I'm currently reading is Stoner by John Williams, and I fell completely in love with this book and I do not want it to finish. I feel like I'm going through it so quickly and I'm just dreading the moment where I reach the ending. Broadly speaking, the story is about all of the moments that encompass our lives and how things that we think of as not significant are actually kind of significant to the individual. I find that it perfectly describes the feeling of yearning that many of us experience and the disappointments that we go through in life, as well as the little glimpses of happiness here and there. Essentially, we're following the life of William Stoner and his journey into university at the age of 19 and how he eventually becomes a teacher. I'm gonna head out shortly to get some breakfast, but first I'm just gonna make sure that I have everything. This might be my favorite breakfast food in China. It's called the jianbing, and it's honestly so good. The amount of reading that I do really depends on my schedule for that day. For example, yesterday I had a pretty busy day. In the morning, I went to the hospital and then I studied and had lab in the evening. But today, my evening is quite free. I do have surgery, but after that, basically I have nothing. Studying, but like otherwise nothing. And so I think I'll be able to get more reading done today than I did yesterday. My friend got me this dessert from Thailand, and I'm just gonna eat one while I continue reading. I'll read a passage that I believe perfectly encapsulates one of the major takeaways from this book. I'll omit the parts that reference certain events in the case that you haven't read this book and want to. He smiled fondly, as if at a memory. It occurred to him that he was nearly 60 years old and that he ought to be beyond the force of such passion, of such love. But he was not beyond it, he knew, and would never be. Beneath the numbness, the indifference, the removal, it was there, intense and steady. It had always been there. He had, in odd ways, given it to every moment of his life, and had perhaps given it most fully when he was unaware of his giving. It was a passion neither of the mind nor of the flesh. Rather, it was a force that comprehended them both, as if they were but the matter of love, its specific substance. To a woman or to a poem, it said simply, "Look, I am alive. I'm going to end my day filling in my journal. On Saturday, I went to a botanical garden and it was beautiful. And I took some clips there, and so I just decided to add them here. Thank you. Yes. I accidentally spelled tea on my book. And I'm pretty sad about it, but it is what it is. So William Stoner is a main character that I love. Like, these are the types of main characters that I like, the ones that are just very insignificant, because I feel like the majority of us fall under this umbrella. And I figured I would read an excerpt from the very first page, and this is in reference to William Stoner's death and the mark that he leaves behind. Stoner's colleagues, who held him in no particular esteem when he was alive, speak of him rarely now. To the older ones, his name is a reminder of the end that awaits them all, and to the younger ones, it is merely a sound which evokes no sense of the past and no identity with which they can associate themselves or their careers. And with that, I'm going to be ending this video. Thank you if you've watched this far, and let me know what you've been reading.